Hi and welcome to my tutorial. I'm Jutta, a teacher, illustrator and designer from Germany, and today you can draw with me Pikachu! A few notes before we get started. This is a complimentary tutorial for my newest Skillshare class, Master Shading in Procreate, Draw a Furry Monster. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll leave a link in the description box. I highly recommend to check it out. The class is fully packed with basic knowledge about shading in general, shading in Procreate, and especially shading furry surfaces. This will help you to level up your illustrations, and by following the link, you will get a free month of premium membership at Skillshare, where you can watch thousands of high-quality classes. All the brushes I'm using in this tutorial are a free resource in my class. If you, for whatever reasons, don't have access to Skillshare, but are still interested in purchasing the brushes only, please let me know, because I'm thinking about adding them to my creative market shop if there is a high demand for the brushes. Just drop me a line in the comments. But now, let's dive into our tutorial. To make it easier for you, I prepared a sketch and a color palette for you. You can download them for free by following the link in the description box. Just hit download and import both items in Procreate, and then we can get started right away. And that's what I did here already. This is my sketch on a 3000 by 3000 pixel canvas. You might want to check if this resolution gives you enough layers. I would say a minimum of 50 layers should be fine to be on the safe side, and we can find out the layers amount here. You just go to the wrench tool, to canvas, and to canvas information. And here you see layers. So with 3000 by 3000 pixel, this iPad gives me 70 layers. And since I've already used one layer, I have 69 left. So with kind of 50 layers, we should be safe. So you can please check if your iPad gives you an equal amount of layers. If not, you just go with a smaller resolution. You open a canvas with, let's say, 2500 or even 2000 pixels wide only, and then you import your sketch into that canvas. That's no problem at all. All right, let's tap done. And let's have a look at our sketch. With this sketch, you can draw both just an anime style Pikachu, a flat style Pikachu, or, and that's what we focus on in this tutorial, a furry one, a fluffy and furry version of Pikachu. As you can see, I've spread a lot of numbers on the sketch, and they show you which items belong together on one layer. So for example, the background here has the fat number 1. So this one is on layer number 1. And then we have all the stars. They have the number 2. So that means they need to be drawn on layer number 2. And so on and so forth. And this way we move our way up from the background to the foreground. And we are starting now with inking out all the basic shapes layer by layer. And then we'll add the shading and texture once that's done. So let's get started and grab our pencil. And we add our first layer. And of course, since we already imported our sketch, the layer with the number 1 is already occupied. So if you such a messy illustrator as I am, you can just go with knowing layer 2 is layer 1, because you need to add a +1 to each number. However, you could also make it simple for you and just rename your layer and just rename it with layer 1 background. I try to teach myself naming my layers now, since I noticed I'm really messy with that and I keep forgetting. And later on, I'm having a hard time finding the right layer where to put my clipping masks onto. So forgive me, I'm still trying to learn. And in case I forget, you need to be kind with me. So for now, let's go with the background layer and our color palette, which is called Pikachu. And we will go with our first red color, the one in the first box. And this is our background color. So let's add another layer on top, name it. And what we're going to do now is we grab the Nice Liner Mono brush from our Cute Monster brush set and we follow the lines of the stars here. And you can draw them either all in yellow or some in yellow, some in white. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna tint the bigger stars in yellow and I'm gonna draw the smaller ones in white. However, they can still be on one layer. That's no problem at all. But maybe a helpful hint first. If you go to your sketch layer, you tap on the N and you reduce the opacity, then it's easier for you to see where you're drawing. And if you also turn the blend mode to multiply, then it will still be visible even if you draw a darker color underneath. So let's go back to our stars layer and start inking out the shapes. And that's the stars. So we can move on to layer number 3, which we can see it's his left ear, left arm, the back foot, and its tail. And for this, we're gonna change to a fur brush right away. This time I wanna go with fur medium. And this brush will give you the furry, spiky outline right away. So we can turn down the brush size a little bit, move on to yellow. Don't forget to add our layer, so layer 3. And get started. As you see, there are sometimes some dashed lines, and these mark that these lines are hidden in the back. Yeah, so you still have to draw them because if you don't have a closed shape, you can't fill your shape. So you still follow those lines. You just can remember these are hidden by the parts that are coming on top. You just need to make sure that you follow the line more than just once to just make sure the shape is closed later on. If the shape is not closed, we can't drop in the color. Okay, and we can move on to layer number 4, which is Pikachu's tummy. And now it can look nice when you make the fur a little bit larger around the outline of Pikachu's belly. So let's first add our layer. and start drawing around with a tiny little bit of a bigger brush size to make it extra fluffy. Sometimes it can be helpful to turn off the visibility of the layers underneath, that you can see where exactly is the edge and where you are with your brush. All right, let's move on to layer number 5, which is the right arm and the left leg. And here we need to decrease our brush size again and turn off the visibility of the layers underneath. And on layer number 6, we have Pikachu's head and its left foot. Gorgeous. What's missing now is layer number 7 with its right ear. So let's see if we have everything by turning on all the layers. Oh, it looks super. All right, unless the face, everything else is there. And let's go on with the face parts, which don't have a number, because I just thought this is not necessary, as they're gonna be on top anyway. So for its face, we have the eyes, its nose, and the throat of Pikachu in the back, and the white sparkles here, and the tongue on a layer above. And for the throat, we are going to pick this dark red color here. To not have those kind of blobby things at the edges, we will just use the Nice Liner Mono as eraser and clean up the edge. All right, next is Pikachu's tongue, and I want to draw only where the throat is. I want to make sure that the tongue perfectly fits onto the throat, that there's nothing going over the edges. But I don't want to turn it into a clipping mask, because I want to be able to shade the tongue later on its own, on a separate layer. And for that we have a handy trick. We go to our layers panel, we tap the eyes, nose, throat layer, and we say select. And then we add another layer. And now, as you can see, the selected areas are like those stripy ones, and there's just a free space here in its throat and on its eyes and nose, of course. And what we're going to do is, on the new layer, we just draw here our tongue shape. All right, so our Pikachu looks perfect so far, and we're ready now for the texturizing and shading part. And the way I'm teaching it in my Skillshare class is just by adding layers and turning them into blend modes. I'm going down to my background layer, I'm going to add a layer, turn it into a clipping mask, add another layer underneath, which also turns into a clipping mask right away. And now I'm going to change the blend modes of these layers. So let's say with the bottom layer, I want to go with the blend mode linear burn. I just got it by tapping onto the letter N. And on the layer on top, I will, let's say go with maybe Color Dodge. And then we check how it looks. So the bottom layer is Linear Burn, the top layer is Color Dodge, and you check later on if you like the hues that we achieve with these blend modes, or if you want to go with a different one. And now I want to change to the stripy brush, stripy here, and I'm going to pick the same color as we have used for the background. The brush size is huge, as big as it can be, and then I'm going to just start drawing like this stripy texture here. And the blend modes, they turn the colors we have like into a very vivid and lively shade, and I really like that. So it's not that boring anymore. We have a little texture, but we have also very vivid colors. All right, as you can see, with the Linear Burn, the color turned a little bit darker. If I turn off the layer, you can see that. From this to that. And on the layer on top, in Color Dodge, I will probably add like a lighter hue. And since I want my light source to come from here, I want to start at this corner. No, that was too long. I don't want it to be too light under Pikachu here in this corner, because this is where Pikachu throws the shadow. So I am trying to make sure that I only stay here. But I can already tell that I don't really like Color Dodge because it kind of dulls the color too much. Let's see how Add works, or Screen. I guess Screen is the best option. I just want to make it a little bit lighter. Awesome, that looks perfect. All right, so this is the process we're going to follow throughout the whole tutorial. We want to add several clipping masks, change the blend mode, and then draw on these layers. So let me continue with the stars layers here, because to the stars I want to add a little bit of a texture. So let's move on to the stars layer, add a clipping mask, and 2 more underneath. The 2 bottom ones I'm going to turn into Linear Burn, and the top one, Screen. On to these layers now, onto the bottom layer, the bottom Linear Burn layer, I will add a texture to our stars just to have them not so digital looking. And here we have several texture brushes. And I guess this time I want to go with the coarse texture, and let's see how that looks. And I'm just drawing over, and you can see it gives just some subtle texture. I'm going to do the same on top of the white stars, although if I pick white, we're probably not going to see any difference. So I might want to go to my disc and turn it a little bit into gray. And then I will do the same, just in gray. Okay, wonderful. So you can see they have like a little bit of a roughy surface texture, which is all right for now. On the next layer, I am on the Linear Burn layer number 2. I'm going to go back to my yellow, and I will draw the shady areas using the soft shader brush from my brush set. Let's check the size. And with this, I will give our stars like a little bit of a soft edge. I will make sure that all the edges get a little bit of a darker shade, that they appear like soft with no harsh edges. And I'm going to go along and do that all around our stars. This will create some depth and dimension. Awesome. And I will do the same with the great color we just picked on the white stars. However, I want to turn off my sketch for that it's easier to see where I'm drawing. And as always, you can go as dark or light as you want. You can create as much contrast as you like. It's completely up to you. So you see, we already added quite some depth to our stars. However, where there's shade, there's also highlights. And this is what we're going to add in the next layer. So we move on to our screen layer, layer number 13. And this is going to add like a very light color on top. So let's mark our highlights here. Let's see if that works with our gray. If not, we could just move onto and pick a white color. That gives a nice shimmer. Maybe let's check if it works better when we use white. And we're going to do the same on the stars layer. And I apologize in case you hear some background noise, but we have like a construction in the house next door. We're going to get new neighbors. They're super nice, so I don't blame them. It's just you need to deal with maybe a little bit of construction noise. And if you find the highlights are too strong for your taste, then you can just play with the opacity. If you tap on the layer on the S and then just turn down the opacity until you really like it. Great, that looks fantastic. All right, let's turn on our sketch again. And on layer number 3, we have ear, arm, and tail, and the bottom foot here. And what we need to add first is we need to add here the black tip of its ear. And we also have to add the brown end of its tail. So we're going to do that first. Then we want to add like darker fur, and we want to add lighter fur for the highlights. So we need to add 3 clipping masks in total. So I'm going to go to the body parts in the back. I'm going to turn it into a clipping mask, and I'm going to add 2 layers underneath. The bottom one I leave at normal because this is where we want to add the color. The next one will be a linear burn layer, and the top one will be a screen layer. So let's go to the bottom layer and pick black first. And then we go back to our fur brush, and here we can decide, do we want to go with like more curly hair or more straight hair? So we have the fur medium, which is the one we choose for our outline. We could go with a fur long or even fur medium curly. That's your decision. I guess I want to go with the fur medium for now and check how that looks. The brush size seems to be okay. And now I'm just going to draw over here to mark its black tip. I think the brush size is a bit too big. Perfect. And I'm going to do the same here on the bottom of its tail, but with the brown color here. And I noticed here that we have some gaps in our tail layer, in the yellow layer underneath. So I want to fix that. Pick my yellow brush and my yellow color and just gonna close those gaps here. Great. All right. So that's the tail and that's the tip of its ear. And on the next layer, we want to add the dark fur shading. And I show you. So we are still with the fur medium brush. So for the ear, we have to think about the shape of the ear. And it's probably having a little dimple in the middle. So it's probably curved in that way. So that means we need to draw this kind of curved lines. And we want to start in the bottom. Because this is, whoops, we're not on the right layer. We need to go to our linear burn layer. And so we're going to draw from the bottom to the top and add the cute fur texture. Ah, that looks so cute. That looks so cute. And we're going to move on to the tail. Let's say I want to have the tail in this kind of roundness. Its foot is also having this kind of curved lines. With its arm, we have to draw this kind of curved lines probably. And here we can also remember where the arm comes out of its body. This is probably the darkest part. Ah, great. Oh, it looks so cute. I just want to go over the bottom of the tail a little bit better with the brown color as well. That looks so cute, especially here where the tail grows out of its popo. Yes, wonderful. All right, and on the next layer, we will spread the highlighted fur, the lighter fur area. And I try how it looks with yellow because I want to indicate some fur here on its tip, because the tip is probably the lightest. And here, coming from the outside into the inner ear, I'm going to spread it lighter. However, down there I don't like it that much, so let's undo. I like it on the black part a lot, but not on the yellow. So here I'm gonna go with some white hair, but the further down I will change into yellow. All right, let's move on to this arm with the highlighting. And as well as on top of its tail. I noticed that I didn't make the bottom side, the part of the tail that faces the bottom towards the darkest area in our illustration is not dark enough. So I'm going to go back to that layer and make that a little bit darker. And for that, I also added like a darker honey yellow shade, and I want to try if that looks better. Yes. And also its hand here casts a little bit of a shadow. All right, and then I will add a little bit more highlighting with my white color. Perfect. All right, let's move on to layer number 4 with Pikachu's tummy. And we're gonna follow the same procedure. We add 2 clipping masks and change their blend modes. And with its tummy, I think I want to change the brush I want to go to my fur long brush because I think it makes such a long and fluffy fur texture. Let's see how we like that. And now we will have darker areas, which is very interesting to know before or to think about before. Here where the head hits its tummy, and also here where its thigh grows into its tummy, as well as here on this side because this is not facing the light source. So let's start with our dark area here, but it doesn't work because we didn't pick the right color. Pick the yellow color. So the part here down where it faces the bottom is also quite dark. So cute. Wonderful. All right, so let's add on the next layer, let's add some highlights. And I want to add a little bit more of the darker yellow tone here on the bottom. And to create a better contrast, I'm gonna add with a very small brush size, I'm gonna add some reflected light here. Oh, and I see we didn't take care of its foot yet, so we need to go a layer below and just add some highlights here. I know it's not the correct brush, but I'm just gonna go with it anyway. And some reflected light here at its tip. Awesome. So let's move on to layer number 5 with its thigh and its right arm. Go back to our yellow color and start the process with the fur medium brush. It's important that we follow the direction in which its leg is facing towards. So that's why I'm not drawing this way, but that way curved. And I might want to add the honey color right away. Awesome. As well as back to the yellow with its arm. We need to make sure that its head casts a shadow onto its arm. And because I don't like the way we have like a border here where the arm grows out of its tummy, and for that we can get rid of that easily by just go back to this layer and change our eraser to the soft shader brush. And then we just erase the harsh line. And now it's naturally growing out of its tummy. Great! All right, let's move on to highlighting. Let's go back to yellow. Oh, so cute. Let me turn off the sketch so that we can see it's... How cute! Oh, it looks fantastic. I guess we still need some light here on its thigh. I guess we also need some more highlights here on top of its arm. So let's go back and find its arm. I guess that's here. And if you would want to, you could even add some like finger shapes here by just drawing like some darker lines here in between. If you would want that. I don't, so I'm just keep the hands just round. But you go with whatever you like best. Let's move on to turn on the sketch. Let's move on to layer number 6, which is its head and foot. Let's move on to its head. Go back to the linear burn layer. And I guess for the head, I also want to go with my fur long brush. And let's start with yellow. And for that, we need to know that it's probably the darkest area here around its eyes and in between its eyes. So its nose, it's probably on something like a little hill, but behind there need to be dark parts because that's further in the back. And here, its upper lip, we need to draw a little bit lighter to indicate that this is more in the front. This is how we create the depth of its head. So let's see, but I just accidentally, did I? No, I did not. So I'm on layer, on the linear burn layer on top of its head. So, and I want to start by drawing like dark fur around its eyes. And then I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up to the top. Oh, he's so cute. And now we go to our dark yellow honey color. And then we're gonna mark the highlights. Let's start with yellow. Ah, that looks so cute and realistic. Ah, all right. A little bit more white, I guess. Let me turn off the sketch. It looks so cute. So cute. Oh my. Really nice. And I guess to just have the, have the effect right away, I can't wait. I want to add its glow, its shimmer in its eyes and the cheeks. So let's turn on the sketch. We're still at white and let's find its lightest spot here. I love it. Oh, I used just in case you didn't get it, I used the soft shader for that. And let's try the red cheeks on the same layer. And for that, I've added the red color here. I love it. All right, so what still looks kind of creepy to me are the eyes and the mouth. We need to give them some shading too. And also this ear is missing. So let's go ahead and continue with its right ear. For its right ear, we need to add 3 more clipping masks again because we need the black tip of its ear. Go back to black. Let's change to fur medium, I guess, maybe a little bit like that. And turn on the sketch again that we see the line. And in this underneath on the next layer with yellow, we're gonna start with a darker fur. We're gonna do the same as we did with its right arm. We erase part of the bottom of its ear to have it like naturally growing into its head. Go back to the linear burn layer. Go back to our honey color, the fur medium brush. Next layer, go back to yellow. And I think we need to go over the left ear once more now that I see what nice dimple we created here within his ear. So let's go back to this layer once more. It's the layer 3. And go back to our honey color and just mark in the middle, in the center of its ear. Wonderful! Yes, I love it. All right, so as I said, the last thing that's missing is some texture for its mouth and its eye because they look kind of creepy to me. I want to turn off the sketch though, and I want to add some layers. Let's start with its eye, nose, and throat. And I want to add a layer on top, turn that into a clipping mask, add a layer underneath, change blend mode to, let's say, linear burn again, and screen. That's all right. And you know what? We're gonna add a layer, even another clipping mask underneath, which we keep on normal. Nope, we're gonna turn it into linear burn as well. All right, and then we just want to add some subtle texture just to get rid of this digital look. I want to go with the grunge texture, and I'm just gonna add on around his eyes. So now you can see the black is a tiny bit cloudy. It's not just pure black, and that gives it right away, it gives a complete other appearance. Just some, I hope you can see that on the camera, just some darker areas, very natural. And I want to do the same here with its throat. So I'm gonna pick this color. Great, all right. And what else we need is, of course, the shading. And for this, I'm gonna go back to my black, and I'm gonna pick the soft shader brush. Let's see, yeah, the size is all right. And now I wanna mark all around its eye. And then we're gonna go back to the dark red. Some highlights. And then we're good to go. I guess I wanna go oh, that looks fantastic. All right, now the tongue is missing. Wonderful. It looks fantastic already. What I usually like to add at the final stage is, of course, the shadow on the bottom. That's always my last mission, and that's also why it has here on the sketch, it has the number 8, because that's usually the last part I'm doing. So let's add another layer, go to black, go back and pick our nice liner mono, and then we just think about once more, our light is coming from here, so the shade must be kind of here. And that's always different. It depends on where you decided on the appearance of your light source. So, and then I'm gonna draw something like this oval shape here. And of course, that looks way too harsh. To this layer now, I'm gonna add a Gaussian blur. You find that here under the magic wand, Gaussian blur, and then you just swipe to the right until you like the way it's blurred. And if you're not happy with the position, that's no problem. You can drag it around. That's no problem. So I guess I want to have it here, like that. The foot is on here, but also the tail. And if we turn it into distort, here I'm still on the move tool and just turn it to distort, then I can make it a little bit longer and also a little bit flatter. Great, I really like that. And the final part of my illustration is I want to add a little bit of a glow. And for that, I want to add a layer on top of the background. So let's see. Below the stars, on top of the background, I want, let's say, and we need to check. Let's pick our cheeky red color here. And just with the Nice Liner Mono, we draw a circle and fill that. And now we play with the blend mode. I want like a very vivid, nice color, light that adds the shimmer, but not just pure white, because that usually dulls the color quite a lot. So let's check and see. Lighten, no. Screen is already very nice. Color dodge. Let's see. Not too bad either, but maybe not light enough. What about add? Or lighter color? No. What about overlay? Nope. I guess I want to go with add for now and then check how it appears. And what I'm going to do now is just erase that. Oops. Just erase that. I want to draw behind each shape. I want to draw something like a circle and just fill it with color. Behind. And behind all the stars and behind our Pikachu. So I'm just roughly following the shape of our Pikachu. And now we're going to do the same. We just add some Gaussian blur and let's see what happens. Gaussian blur and blur it. Ooh, and the shimmer appears right away. So I've blurred until 24% and I want to change. No, I guess that was too much of a blur. So let's go back. Magic wand, Gaussian blur, and do it once more. Maybe 15 is enough. Go to the move tool. Move it a little bit to the side. But I want to turn down its opacity a little bit for just a subtle shimmer. If you don't like the shade as I do, you can turn down its opacity. Yeah, that's way better. All right, and here we go. Our illustration is done. Our Pikachu looks fantastic. I really love it. I hope you enjoyed the process. I hope you enjoyed the sketch and the color palette that came with it. Please like, share, and comment the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to receive more of these free tutorials. So, and maybe I will see some of you in my classes soon. I can't wait. And hopefully you're gonna share what you created today with this tutorial. You can share it via Instagram or Facebook. You will find my handles in the description box as well. That's it for today. Thank you for being with me, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. See you in the next tutorial. Bye!